glad to have you in our college, sir.
The pleasure is entirely mine.
So my first question from you is, tell us about your journey from your first job till the Director General of Indian Institute of Mass Communication.
Well, it's been a long journey with several halts. I must say that I started off, I always wanted to be a journalist. My father wanted me to be a civil servant because he was in government. He wanted me to be one, but I was passionate about journalism. In fact, I remember that when I was still in school, I used to write letters to the editor, and I used to be so excited when my letters used to get published. So from day one, I had no other option before me. I just wanted to be a journalist. And I remember a family friend who is a doctor, she had come and she was asking, what do you want to become? I said that I want to be a journalist. Today, to at least, in the profession of journalism, there is a sense of security is there, you earn a decent living. Those days, journalists meant, somebody who would be wearing kurta pajama with a jhola. That was the kind of impression. So the doctor was so disappointed. कहती कि अपने बेटे को समझाओ, एक ही बेटा है, इसको समझाओ, कहाँ जा रहा है ये, तो that was the kind of attitude towards journalism, and but I was adamant, and I joined a small magazine which is called New Delhi The City magazine. This used to be published from somewhere near Ramakrishna Mission. And then I still remember that, I used to carry those franking machines. And that is the hard way we learned, And I joined as a trainee and subsequently I worked in some other publications. My first major break, if I may say so, after having worked in several, was when I joined Press Trust of India, India's national, international news agency, so to say. There I worked for several years. Started as a sub-editor trainee and went on to become the chief political correspondent there. I traveled across the country, I traveled across the world. I went to Kabul, I went to Pakistan, I went to South Africa, and all those, what is called the difficult areas. And I went to Kashmir. I got to cover the kind of exposure that I got was, beyond, I cannot explain it in words. Right from local crime to international events, I started covering. I started covering the Prime Minister's office. I traveled with the Vice President of India. I interviewed Prime Ministers. I interviewed Mr. Gujral. At that time, he had become Prime Minister. And, several ministers. A lot of breaking news. Those days agencies were dominating. The kind of clout that television today has was not there. So it gave me a lot of experience. Then, of course, I took a sabbatical. But alongside what I did was that I was academically inclined also. So I've been teaching at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication for the last 20 years. So even as I was a working professional, I used to devote some time to teaching also. And I started teaching in Delhi University, I started teaching in the Makhanlal Chaturvedi University. And in fact, I was appointed the first adjunct professor of the Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism. And alongside, after leaving PTI, I switched over to what you call web television. I became the India Bureau Chief of PIO TV, which was the only channel dedicated to non-resident Indians. And then subsequently, I thought that my idea was that I should explore all aspects of mass communication. So from agency journalism to web journalism, then I joined the corporate communication sector. I became the group media advisor for Dalmia Bharat Enterprises Limited. So that was my stint with corporate communication. So that also I learned, kind of. So there is no aspect of media which I have not. So I've been a media educator, a television journalist. Then I joined Asianet Television, which is one of the leading television companies of southern India. They have two channels, one in Karnataka and the leading channel Asianet in Kerala. And I became their editorial consultant. I had a stint in Zee Television as advisor to the chairman. And then subsequently, I joined, I've always wanted to work with a government channel. I became the editor of Doordarshan News. And I headed Doordarshan News. It was at that time that, I got this offer. Rather, I applied and I was selected for an institution with which I have been associated for the last 20 years, the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. And I still believe that there are many more areas, aspects of communication which need to be explored. And I still believe that the journey has just begun. And there's a lot to learn. I'm learning every day. And this is, as an administrator, as a leader of an institution, this is a different experience altogether. Being part of the government and, understanding the system from inside, So, yes, every job has its plus and minus points. I straight came from the Doordarshan newsroom. So I'm missing the newsroom action, certainly yes. But, and I also am not able to write. I was a columnist for several newspapers. I was on almost every channel as an expert, from NDTV to Times Now to a lot of channels I was part of. So, but this has its own, as I said, its own advantages. And I'm enjoying this also. I've been a workaholic. So I always enjoyed doing whatever I did. I never had complaints. And we are now setting up the National Center for Excellence in Animation, Visual Effects, Gaming and Comics in Mumbai. So you need to be a graduate in the first place from any discipline. I've got people having completed B.Tech, BBA, from management, from automobile industry. A lot of people, after doing their graduation, want to be a journalist. And they are there in my campus. We have an all India entrance examination and followed by group discussion and interviews. And we have thousands of people applying every year. And we just have space for the 400 of the best from India are selected. Iimc is what IIT for technology, and IIM is for management, IMC is for mass communication. So there is still, as an institution, I think that it goes to the credit of the institution that even 52 years after we were established in 1965, that even in 2017 there is a craze for IIMC. IIMC is still a brand. So I think that, and some of the big names in television today, have come from even among the younger generation. I mean, you take Sudhir Chaudhary, Nidhi Razdan, Ravish, they are all products of Indian Institute of Mass Communication. Supriyo in Ashtak. I mean, they are all big names today. They are all products of Indian Institute of Mass Communication. So we have been able to retain, but I think that ultimately it is the quality in you. How good are you? And we look whether at the interview boards and in the written examination, the only criteria is that whether you come from any particular discipline is not our concern. We look whether do you have the journalist in you or not. If you have it, we will search it out and we will turn you into a great product. That's what we do at IIMC.
Sir, you are expanding IIMC centers in Jammu especially. What are the feedback you are getting from centers like Jammu?
No, Jammu center has been there. I mean, we are expanding in the sense that we have got now 6. We earlier had only one campus in Dhenkanal, Odisha. Now we have 6 campuses all over India, Delhi being the headquarters. We have the northern campus in Jammu, the southern campus in Kottayam, Kerala, the eastern campus in Dhenkanal, the western campus in Amravati, Maharashtra, and the northeast campus in Aizawl. So by and large, all these campuses were only offering English journalism, except Dhenkanal where we had an Odia journalism thing also. But now, since I joined, I'm giving a big push for language journalism, and I've started Malayalam journalism from, our Kerala campus, and Marathi journalism from our Maharashtra campus. We are planning some other courses also in other places. So I think that we were so far, except for Dhenkanal, we were, operating from the space provided to us by certain universities. But now, we are building our own campuses in a big way. In Kerala, almost 50% of the work is over. In Azol, almost 60% of the work is over. So I'm fast tracking all of them. And now we are setting up the National Center for Excellence in Animation Visual Effects, which would be the first of its kind in Asia that we are setting up. We have already in the process of acquiring about 20 acres of land in Goregaon Film City in Mumbai. And once that happens, we hope to produce about 1,500 students per annum. That's our target. So we are expanding in a big way, but a lot of emphasis is being given to quality education also. I wish to add here that often there is a tendency to compare IIMC with other media schools, which is unfair. In the sense that IIMC is not just a media school. IIMC is also the training academy for the Indian Information Service. Like the IAS Academy in Mussoorie and the IPS Academy in Hyderabad. IIMC is the training academy for the Indian Information Service, which mans Press Information Bureau and all the government's, central government's communication machinery is handled by IIS officers. We are also the training center for the communication training center for the armed forces, for the paramilitary. I mean, right from junior commissioned officers to major generals come to IIMC for their mass communication training. So we train them. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, paramilitary forces, state governments, they all get their communication training at IIMC. Not only this, like the Chevening Scholarship and the Fulbright Scholarship, we are also providing training to mid-career journalists from developing countries. And since 1969, we have trained over 1,600 journalists from 127 countries. Even right now, I have a batch of 25 journalists from 18 countries who are undergoing training at IIMC. So IIMC is an international institution. It's not just a school which is teaching journalism. This apart, we house the Community Radio Empowerment and Resource Center. We house the National Media Faculty Development Center. We have Asia's biggest media library with us. We have our own studio. We have our own printing press. So IIMC is an institution. It's a national institution. It's not just another media school.
So, sir, how much difference will be able to see within the regional centers and the headquarters, which is in Delhi?
Well, right now a lot of people prefer, certainly you see, we have been in Delhi since 1965. Regional centers have come in the, post, you can say, 2010. So, they are just few years into existence. But we are working overtime to make them, at par with Delhi. Delhi has more infrastructure, though, so a lot of students prefer to be at Delhi. But then when we have the All India Entrance Examination, we decide on the students based on their, rankings, that who will go to which place. But yes, we are working overtime. Almost the infrastructure wise, certainly yes, Delhi is we have a 16-acre sprawling campus in Delhi in the what do you call the Aravali Ridge area. We have forest, we have rocks, all that things are there. But other campuses are also bigger campuses. The new campuses which are coming, we have 15 acres, 14 acres, so huge campuses are coming up. And infrastructure is also almost at par. But yes, we We believe that we have a much more experienced faculty here, which we are trying to bring about in terms of quality, almost equal standards in all the campuses. That's what we are looking at.
Okay. Tell us about the new courses that are being introduced in IIMC.
Yes. I told you, one is Marathi journalism, which we have introduced in Maharashtra, Malayalam journalism. And this part, we have recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the Lal Bahadur Shastri Sanskrit Vidyapeeth, Rashtriya Vidyapeeth, which is a Sanskrit university in the Kutub institutional area. It's almost nearby. So what we are going to do is that now we are going to have a joint certificate program in Sanskrit journalism. This would be the first of its kind, because they have expertise in Sanskrit and we have expertise in journalism. So it would be a synergy of Sanskrit and journalism that we will have. So that is another thing. We are also planning to introduce a larger number of short-term courses. A very good news, I must say, for people who are aspiring to go to the film industry is that we are now collaborating with the Film and Television Institute of Pune to start workshops in Delhi, training programs ranging from 4 days to 40 days in acting, in direction, in script writing, in television production. We are going to start in Delhi from October onwards. So in a way it will become an extension center of FTI Pune. So students don't have to travel from all over northern India. Students don't have to go all the way to Pune to attend these courses. Now in our own Delhi campus we are going to start. This we are able to facilitate because I am also on the governing board of the Film and Television Institute of India, Pune. I am also in the Society of the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata. So we are bringing this aspect of mass communication also in a big way at Delhi campus. So you can include this also.
So what is better to pursue, a diploma course or a master course?
It depends. I think that both have its plus and minus points. We think that if you do a postgraduate diploma program, we can prepare you for the industry. But if you do a master's program, the advantage is that you can go into academics. If you want to say pursue MPhil, PhD, and also say civil service, so a master's course will certainly be much more handy to you. But if you are straight away planning to go into industry, I think a 1 year diploma you don't have to waste much time. You can just go for a diploma. So I think both have its plus and minus points. And we are trying to we are in the process of becoming a deemed university. The UGC has already appointed a panel to examine our proposal. And if that happens, we will have, IIMC would be a university under which FTI and SRFTI will come. And we will be able to award degrees, diplomas, degrees and MPhil and doctorate. But that will take time. Once if that happens, then we will give them the option, our students the option, that if they want to do a 1 year course, they can exit with a diploma. If they want to continue, we will give them a postgraduate degree. That's how we are planning.
Thank you, sir, for so much of information.